Hi, everyone. Welcome. I appreciate you coming inside for this today. Thank you. Take just a moment with your feet on the floor and remembering the power of your vagus nerve, using it to tune in to all the parts that connect in your body, all of the different steps and layers and parts that are all of your internal organs, as well as your brain, your vocal cords. All of that is attached to your vagus nerve, and you can connect that anytime that you want to. Earlier today, I was feeling sort of like I needed something, and I couldn't figure out, do I need a coffee? Do I need just water? Do I need a nap? Do I need, nothing was really resonating with me. And so I used the tool of my vagus nerve to bring things in line and feel a little bit more connected to myself. It was a fun experiment. For as much as I talk about it, it didn't even occur to me. Somebody else mentioned that it would be a good idea. And so I'm here to remind you that the power of your vagus nerve, getting your whole body online, really does pay off, especially in those moments when we're feeling ramped up about something. I appreciate you doing that seat switch so gracefully, carefully. Thank you for that. And here's where we are. We're on page 62 for today. Going back to the class that we missed the other day. So touching on something new for us that connects to all the other things that we've talked about. So before we start, a couple of resources. Our class Instagram and website, if you haven't looked at these, might be fun, might be interesting, might be informative, whatever you choose to use that for, that being technology. So it might seem counterintuitive that we have technology connected to this class when I ask you to put your phones away. It's just the idea that technology is a tool for us. We can find resources that way. Technology is not going to go away. So how is it that that you can find ways that it can support what you're choosing to do in life? So we offer these opportunities for you. I linked the BiSci3 website to the opening page of Canvas. So you can find it there. It has places to go hiking. It has suggestions of trails, suggestions of eco-friendly shopping. It has suggestions of all kinds of videos and books and other things that you might find interesting related to class and just life in general. So you can check these things out. The seed semester is an opportunity that's taught through RPTM and through Ag Sciences. It is a semester of courses where you get to spend the semester going out to Shavers Creek for two of the classes, RPTM 326 and 425, the Natural History Interpretation and Principles of Interpretive Materials. So if you imagine walking into a museum and you're greeted by someone there who is going to tell you about what's in the museum, that person's job is interpretation. They are interpreting the resource to you so that you can connect it to your own life. So these classes are about connection. They're about finding ways of telling stories to other people. And so two of the classes at Shavers Creek, two on campus. If you want to learn more, you can look up the Shavers Creek website and find the seed page. I will post this for you in Canvas too. You do not have to be an RPTM major. You do not have to be an ag major. It is a semester of exploration that connects to a lot of different jobs. So that is an opportunity for you. Please remember also that there's no lab tomorrow because of our field trip on Sunday. So you're going to be meeting at the creamery at the time that your TAs told you to meet there, hopping on the bus, coming out to Shavers Creek and Stone Valley for an adventure. Not too often do you get to have a field trip in college, and I think that it's pretty fun. It's going to be a great weather day. It's going to be beautiful to be outside. And so the TAs, we spent the other day walking the trail, getting ready for you, and are pretty excited about Sunday. So coming up soon. So where we are today then might connect to what you'll experience at Shavers Creek. We're going to go back to that concept of speciesism, the idea that because non-human animals are not human, their interest in their lives matters less than our interest in our lives. So this is where we were working on the idea that other plants and animals, they have their lives that they're living, right? It's a very active life out there. And the outcome that I am seeking by bringing this up, the consideration that I'd like you to make is the idea that I'm calling for uncommon decency, respect that comes from awareness. This quote comes from Kathy Burnham Martin's book that's titled Encouragement: How to Be and Find the Best. I encourage you to check out the book if you're interested. But the idea that this decency that we offer to other people, that we offer to other species, opens the idea of connection, right? And the way that we do that, find that connection, is through awareness. So today we're going to explore awareness, particularly as we talk about one of the world's most prolific, or the most prolific group of animals on our planet. We'll be talking about the kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda. So we're going to be talking about insects today. So thinking about insects, I'd like you to take in this image, and using that curiosity that you've already been working through and working on, come up with 2 questions that come up for you as you are inspired by this image. All these insects. You can jot those questions there in your journal. Who would like to share one of your questions? The cool thing about questions is that maybe somebody in the room will have an answer, but maybe they won't too. And then you get to find the answer, learn something cool, follow your curiosity. What questions came up? The cool thing about this is that there are no right answers and no wrong answers. So you just share a curiosity. It's pretty beautiful.
My question is, where did my fear of bugs come from?
Thank you, Angelica. Where did my fear of bugs come from? It's a big question. Good reflection.
I guess I don't really know how many insects there actually are.
How many insects? This is a very small portion of what's on the planet, of course. There are actually about 900,000 different species of insects. Individuals, billions, trillions of insects. Yeah.
I was wondering why they were shaped the way they are.
Ooh, lots of different shapes. That's a very cool question. Yeah.
Are bugs without wings jealous of those with wings?
Oh, nice. I like that very much. Yeah.
I was thinking about like how over time how they change in size because like in the Carboniferous period they were huge
Right.
and now it's just so different.
Yeah, over time they've evolved to be very different, right? They were those 3-foot wide dragonflies, which I can't even wrap my head around. That's crazy cool. So this curiosity is what can spark your learning, whether it's about insects or anything else. We've talked about the power, humans, this is our superpower, is curiosity. So if we didn't get to your question, if I didn't know the answer to your question, then look it up, figure out some answers to your question. Arthropods are the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. So in arthropods, there are also lobsters, crabs, spiders, mites, and then insects, centipedes, and millipedes. So of those, about 4% are not insects, and then all of the spiders and lobsters and crabs, and those things are arthropods, but not insects. And then the rest are insects. So it's pretty crazy. If you look at all of these insects up on the screen, you'll notice that they have some things in common. So they all have 3 body segments. They have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen, which you can see really clearly, like on this creature, head, a thorax, and an abdomen. But then when you look at this, it's much harder to see. And this head, really skinny little head, and then thorax, and then abdomen is huge, right? So different insects with different shapes, which probably has to do with where they live, what they do, what's their job, and how they fit into the environment that they live in. They also all have an exoskeleton, so the outside has a shell-like coating. They have no bones on the inside. And then they also have 6 legs. So for all of the creatures in this, whether it's this long, skinny, stick insect has these crazy long legs, or the itty-bitty legs of the ladybug, right? They all have 6. So that's something that they have in common. Again, we're like back at elementary school stuff. But when we think about insects, there are ways that, even here, there are so many different kinds of insects that there's no way that I would know them all. So to identify these creatures, these things, to find some relationship with these things that you don't know much about or don't know what they are or where they live, you can use apps. And I highly recommend this, the iNaturalist app. They also have the Seek app by iNaturalist. And we're going to watch a very quick video about the power of iNaturalist.
It becomes more than just a picture. It becomes an observation. It's a record of an organism in a place at a time. Each observation is shared with the global community of naturalists, where it can be identified, discussed, and used to give us a greater understanding of life on Earth. Wherever you are, biodiversity is there too. Get out and observe it.
So the idea that this app is going to inform other research projects that are happening all over the planet. So if you find that insect that you don't know what it is, you take a picture, you put it in iNaturalist, and then it tells you or gives you an idea of what kind of insect it is. You can do it with plants, mushrooms, trees, all kinds of things. And then that information gets uploaded to a database where they record it and they can help you identify it. If the app can't do that, you'll get a message from a scientist saying, oh, that is this insect, and then be able to learn from that. So there is so much capacity in studying nature in this way. Today, we are going to have the opportunity to focus on one particular kind of insect for a brief study, curiosity, the basis for relationship. So we're going to look specifically at this Madagascar hissing cockroach at this juncture. So I'm going to come over here and go ahead. So in order for all of you to see it while I have it out, here it is. Here he is. Madagascar hissing cockroach. Trying to get it in focus. There we go. So what do you notice about this creature, right? What do you notice about this cockroach? Any questions or observations that you would like to make? You can raise your hand. Microphones will come around. Do you see its head underneath? It's tucked underneath its exoskeleton, so it can be very protected. So when I tip it up like this, you can see his little head underneath there. Actually, this is a female. This is a her. I can tell that because she doesn't have bumps on her exoskeleton. Look how fast her antennas are moving. She also has some little parts down near her mouth, you can see, that are also sensing the world around her. She's taking in lots of information about the world right at the moment. So check out, she's got the 6 legs like we talked about, the exoskeleton, and then the head that's peeking out under her shell, and then the thorax, and then the abdomen back here at the back. They are very community-oriented insects. So being that they're from Madagascar, they are using all of these senses that they have in order to find rotting fruit and leaves. They are going to be essentially composters, right? They're digesting this rotting fruit and stuff on the ground. They live inside the rotting trees. That's their habitat. They don't fly and they don't bite us. They obviously do chew their food. You can see the food that I have for her in the container right there. So wingless, flightless. I do wonder if she's jealous of winged insects. That's a fun question. And vegetarian. So they are excellent climbers. They can climb on smooth glass because of the details on their feet that we can't see even, under this kind of microscope. But they do have amazing climbing ability. They are called hissing cockroaches because they have these little sphericals, little openings on the sides of their body where they can express air. They send air out of their bodies, and they can use that as communication with me. If she was afraid enough, she would hiss. But then also, if she was trying to communicate with other hissing cockroaches, she could do that. She would be able to hiss. The males hiss at each other in battle when they're battling over a female. And then they also hiss just as they're setting up their families in their area. So that's why they're called hissing cockroaches, is because they hiss to communicate. So the young, this female, if she were to be having young ones, she keeps the pouch of her babies. Insects typically lay eggs. You may have seen ant eggs or other things like that, laying eggs. But she keeps that pouch inside her body. And so when it's time for those eggs to hatch, inside her body, it actually looks as if she's having live birth. I'll show you a slide of that in just a moment of a cockroach mama in her process. So now that I've given you a little bit of information, what are you curious about? What are you noticing?
I'm curious about if the cockroach is afraid right now, if she's like freaking out, or if she seems pretty calm, not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm just thinking about like what it's thinking, I guess, if it thinks in that way.
Well, it's definitely sensing, right? And this is way outside of her usual daily existence. Usually she's in a big tank with a whole lot of other cockroaches. So probably being alone right now is very different from her, as well as, whatever she is sensing on my hands or whatever, she's sensing with those fabulous antennae. They are such cool, interesting tools that she's using. So there's no way to know what she's thinking, but I imagine that it's different. So if I'm going to think about the umwelt of Madagascar hissing cockroaches, this particular individual, I would imagine that it's a little bit stressful because she's outside of her usual habitat without friends, or connections, relations. I appreciate that question.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead.
How long do these things live for? Like,
They-
is this like a pet?
Right, they can live up to 5 years.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And this one is not full grown. She's a pretty young. They start very tiny, and then so she's probably a teenager, I would guess, in her life. Any other thoughts or questions about her?
They said, or you said they battle. How does that go down?
It gets pretty ferocious, actually. They will battle. They have, well, the little spines on their legs. It's all kind of armored.
How old is this one?
I would imagine that she's a year or so old. And so the males do battle over the females for mating rights. And sometimes I've come across cockroaches that are missing a leg or, but they're still moving around, still surviving. But so the battling, I think, can get pretty rough.
But is it like with their teeth or how do they do it?
Oh, I think with their whole bodies. So they can move very fast when they choose to, but then also just like tackling, like wrestling, not with their teeth. There are no teeth involved.
What's their main goal?
What's that?
What's like the goal of the cockroach?
What's the goal of the cockroach? It's to decompose,
Oh, okay.
right? So as a decomposer, it's really important they're around.
Does it have a name?
It does not have a name. No, sorry.
Oh.
You can discuss on, amongst your lab group on your walk at Shavers Creek, pick a name for her. I think I saw one more question in the back and then we'll move on. Thank you all for your questions. Okay, or not. Yes?
Is the shell like hard?
It is hard, yeah. It's made of the same stuff as our fingernails. It's not probably as thick, but it is made of the same chitin. It's a protein that is in our fingernails. So it is pretty tough.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks for asking. All right, I'm gonna pop her back in here. And we shall proceed. I'll just hold this over here. So when they are having their young, this might take just a moment, they are going to have those young, they are white, the young are white because they need to be soft and flexible, speaking about that hard shell. And then when they come out and grow, they gradually get that hard shell. It sort of dries, but they need to be able to come out of their mama before that happens. And so here's the picture of the young coming out of the mom. Isn't that crazy? This has happened before when we've gotten them. This is a photo in a container like this. So, and then here they are. She just birthed those crazy cockroaches. So, pretty exciting. So these cockroaches out in the wild, they have these. This is a symbiotic relationship. So this is the cockroach body, right? And then these little things live on the cockroaches. Those are mites. The mites live in the little crevices of the cockroach and help to keep them clean. So with all of the things that they're crawling through, all of the things they're eating, maybe that rotten fruit, these mites help to keep the cockroach bodies clean, and in turn, they're getting food from it. So all of the things that the cockroaches pick up on their body. So this is what's happening in the wild. I don't think that the cockroach I brought with me today, I don't think that she has them, having been born and raised in captivity. But this absolutely lengthens the lifespan of the cockroaches to have the mites as a helper. So interesting, arthropod living on an arthropod. I'd like to show you this image. This is an image. I want you to look right here at the base of each of these little, like right here is a good one. Right down here, you can see a couple here. At the bottom of each of these are hair follicles. There are arthropods living there too. These hair follicles happen to be human eyelashes. These are your eyelashes, my eyelashes. Picture of human eyelashes, where we have these eyelash mites that help us to stay healthy as well. So they're believed to be eating some of the oils, some of the eye crud, they keep our eyes clean. Here is a very cool picture. Again, it's been dyed so that you can see the critter itself. This is the eyelash mite, and it pokes its body down into the hair follicles around your eyes, and it eats that dead skin. It helps to keep your eyes. So if you think about the evolution of humans, eyes are really important. So some of us struggle with our eyesight, some more than others. But over the course of history, eyesight was really important because that's how we found our food, that's how we found our mates, how we found our habitats to live. And so these Dermodex mites help to keep our eyes healthy and help to lengthen our lifespan. So we have this cool thing in common with the cockroaches, right? So there's connection, there's relationship. Different populations of people around the world carry different species of Dermodex mites, although it has been shown that most humans have them. They're actually tracing human ancestry, different roots, different ways of being around the world, based on what species of mites people have around their eyelids, around their eyelashes. So, insects. Biodiversity is really important, the vast variety of insects on our planet. They do all kinds of things for us, and others, of course. So pollinating, without pollination, without insect pollination, so many of our foods would not be. If you think of all the fruits and nuts that we eat, we wouldn't have those if we didn't have insects. So that's pretty important. And then we have aerating the soil, helping to keep plants healthy and growing. This is a really important role of insects as well, the ones that live under the ground. They're making these tunnels and pathways where oxygen can flow underground. So soil aeration helps promote root growth for healthier plants. So that's pretty interesting. We also have the decomposers, like we said, the dead bodies of plants and animals, rich organic matter, right, that these insects are eating. And some of them, saprophagy, means that they are adapting and recycling, dead stuff. So these flies are doing just that. And then they poop. Insect poop. This is a katydid pooping. And so that goes back to the soil, right? They're taking in the nutrients. We've talked about the nutrient cycle a couple of times, and insects are a key player in that for us. We also then know that everything dies and goes back to the earth. So with 900,000 species on this planet of insects, they are contributing a lot of nutrients back to our planet, back to the earth, with the plenitude of insects that there are. And of course, they are a food source, right? This is one of my favorite birds. I am very fond of raptors. This is a merlin. They're in the falcon family. And what she's eating is a dragonfly. They catch these on the wing. So dragonflies are migrating at the same time as merlins are migrating. And the merlins just swoop them out of the air, snack on them as they fly. It's probably like us, like having a snack in the car, right? Travel snacks. So that's important. The number of species. So reptiles are eating insects. Insects are eating insects. Birds are eating insects. Mammals are eating insects too, including humans. The practice of entomophagy. Entomophagy. So entomology is the study of insects. Entomophagy is the eating of insects. So there are 3,000 ethnic groups around the world that practice entomophagy. It's common to cultures in most parts of the world, including Central and South America, Africa, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. So in our culture, it is relatively taboo or uncommon. There are now specialty restaurants in big cities where you can literally take in insects. It's part of the diet. So there's all of this stuff, all of these things that insects do for us, and then the learning possibilities that we have from them. So we have biomimicry is the imitation of a natural phenomenon. You may have heard about monarch butterflies and viceroy butterflies. The viceroy copies the monarch's look because the monarch is poisonous and the viceroy doesn't want to get eaten. So they copy, right, the coloration. But humans are now doing this as well. The technology of insects, biomimetics, is innovation that seeks sustainable solutions to human challenges by emulating nature's time-tested patterns and strategies. So I could go on and on about this because there are so many different ways that humans, people, scientists, developers, creatives are using the ideas of insects, but this is just one for now. The idea that these wings are stronger than nylon and they are sturdy and steady. And so what humans are doing is copying this wing technology. It's biodegradable, it's lightweight. This material could be used to replace plastics in bags, bottles, diapers, packing materials, and medical applications. They're calling it shrilk. It's proteins that are wasted, that are leftovers from the seafood industry, and they combine it with silk, and they're making stuff out of it. So using the technology of insects. So now I want to hear from you. What are your associations? Oh, if you want to know more about those technologies, go to this website, asknature.org. So many cool things going on. What are your associations with insects? Take a moment and talk to your neighbor. Here's this fella. Here's this fella. He is the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama, a transcendent teacher, the Buddhist spiritual leader. There are many people of many faith traditions that think that the Dalai Lama holds a lot of wisdom. He promotes basic human values, the interest of human happiness, and happiness of others as well, other beings. So when the Dalai Lama was asked by some visitors, what is the most important thing to teach our children? His response was, teach them to love the insects. Teach them to love the insects. Why do you think that was his response? Anyone want to share an idea? What is the most important thing to teach our children? Teach them to love the insects.
I think that if you can value something as small as an insect, then I think that you can or I think we can extend that love to people much easier.
Thank you. I think beautifully said. Any other thoughts? Kyla, there's someone right here too. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and jumping off of what was just said, I think you could also think about the societal connotation of being an insect, maybe seen as unimportant or kind of low class or things like that. But without recognizing the labor and efforts of all the people who are basically unrecognized for their work. I guess like as a society, we kind of we undervalue that a lot. But it's very kind of critical to, how our world functions. So I think there's kind of some symbolism in there as well.
Thank you for saying so. It's powerful. Teach them to love the insects. So getting curious about those who are different than us. So each of your TAs has a cockroach so that you have the opportunity to experience
Falling off.
who else would like to?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And what? Look at.
Would anyone else in your group like to come up?
I'm gonna pass.
Okay. I bet she'd even let you pet it while she's holding it.
I'm still.
Can you help him out? There you go. Help him out. Thank you. Anyone else back here? I just want you to have the yeah? Thanks for leading the way. They are so cool. Why are you running? All right, I will recontainer it right now. Thank you. Thank you.
I think it looks scared or something.
I think it's just chilling on you.
Okay.
No worries. Yeah. I think it was just cool. All right, we're going to come back together and talk about our experience. So who would like to speak to what happened for you? One second.
At first, I thought like it was gonna feel like prickly in a way, but it actually felt really soft. It was a little ticklish. It was actually really cute. I thought like the head was so tiny, and then
Yeah.
it was a cute little bug. So
An opportunity to check it out. Yeah, sweet. Thank you. Okay.
I had a friend that had pet cockroaches, and this kind of like reminded me of that. Like
Cool.
it
Yeah.
kind of like felt childish, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Connecting to another story. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you. Who else would like to speak? There were a couple of folks over here somewhere. Yep.
So at first I didn't want to do that because I'm really scared of like those kind of bugs. But I'm actually really happy that I did. It was really cool to see feel like his legs like latch onto my hand. So you like that's how they climb, and like I kind of put that together. And it was pretty cool. I mean, I was still a little freaked out, but I'm happy that I did it.
Sweet. Thank you for sharing.
I'm not even gonna lie, this is one of the scariest things I've ever experienced. I've had a fear of bugs like my entire life. This is sort of maybe making it a little bit better, but my heart is like racing right now.
Thank you for sticking with us. I appreciate that you stayed and you're here and you're willing to open. Thank you. Was there somebody in the back who wanted to speak? Yeah, thank you, Maddie.
The roach was squirming a lot and it fell out of my hand and I think it got injured, but overall very cool experience because it kept latching onto my thumb and I just thought that was really cool.
Okay, I'm glad. We'll send the roach good thoughts. Thank you.
Usually I'd be like afraid of this kind of thing, but I was immediately like, you know what? Yeah, I'll hold it. Yeah, I'll hold it. And honestly, it was kind of chill. I can't lie. I wasn't like as afraid as I thought I'd be.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. So this whole vagus nerve thing, right? Bringing your vagus nerve into line, breathing through things that freak you out a little bit. It can work. It can be helpful. Yeah, go ahead.
We actually came up with a question while like looking at the cockroach, and we were wondering like would be the cockroach's intelligence? Like if you put it through like an obstacle course, would it be able to navigate?
I think that's a great question. Would a cockroach be able to navigate a maze of some sort? And so I think that that's a great question. I don't know the answer to it, but I do know that they have very powerful sense of smells, essentially. So if there's something really tasty, like a slightly overripe strawberry at the end, there could be, that's just my guess, knowing or thinking about their power of senses, that they would be able to figure out following that sense of smell to the end. So yeah, one more and then we'll wrap up. Thanks for your attention to each other. That's very cool.
My mom had cockroaches, Madagascar hissing cockroaches in her classroom, and we used to put them in mazes. They're like rats. They can find it very fast. So I just thought,
Oh, I'm so
answer
glad
that.
you're here. Thank you for saying that. There you go. Cockroach intelligence. Beautiful. So thinking about the idea that all of the pieces of our planet fit together, right? And when we gain appreciation and experience and awareness of those other pieces, even though they're so different than us, we have this benefit of a deeper connection. So I appreciate you sticking around, having a deeper connection, opening to the opportunity, and I hope that you go out there and continue your openness. Have a lovely day. Thanks, Veep.